Yeah, make sure once we start that the sound is there, man. I don't want to do that to Andrew again. Yeah, make sure once we start.
Yeah, it's working.
Still waiting.
Ready?
Yeah. Still waiting.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh.
You do it?
There's a delay.
Still waiting. Mark.
There should be no. I'm seeing live.
I mean, I'm not getting a notification, man, so.
You have to go to the site now. Okay, Facebook changed it.
I'm on the page.
It?
Oh, okay, I see it. It didn't give me a notification, though. Weird.
Probably they changed the Facebook UI.
And then I don't see. There you go. Episode 35 with. Yeah, hold on. Okay, I'm starting the watch party. All right, we ready? Hey, you guys, we're there again. Episode 35. 35.
Woo!
Oh my God, man. I remember I struggled as a child counting past 5, dude. And we're at 35. And
have
then,
7 hands.
of course, my co-host Mark Potter. And then, of course, the beautiful Lola.
Hi, Lola.
Say hi, Lola. Say hi. Just like, Dad, what are you doing? And then, of course, JD Glasscock. We have some amazing guests. You're watching Storm Code, Dreamers talking to Dreamers. Let's get right into it. Bring our guests in. Who do you want to bring in first?
Let's bring in our friend
Your sound went out, man.
Andrew.
Okay. First guest is a friend of mine for like over a decade. Amazing East Coast wrestling legend. Amazing actor. He's been on Gotham. He's done national commercials. He's in my upcoming feature film. He's been on several other really big TV series. Andrew Anderson. There he is. And oh my God. And Andrew had some plastic surgery, so he kind of looks like a ceiling fan now.
Yeah, right. What's going on, guy?
Andrew, I'm sorry. Andrew periodically has to take breaks to go get some sausage. So that's all right, man. Salami sometimes we'll do. Anyway,
Salami.
Let's bring in our next guest. A brilliant singer, songwriter, actress as well. You know what? I forgot to ask if you say her last name is Emmerich or Emmerich.
Emmerich.
Emmerich. Okay, so let's bring in Nadine Emmerich. Beautiful, talented lady. There you are. Hey, Nadine.
Hello.
Hey, Nadine, will you do me a favor and turn up your volume just a tiny bit? We want all the people to be able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Me and
Cool.
Andrew got huge voices, so it's not really a problem, but
Cool. So you can hear me?
yes. Okay, so you guys, I want to jump right into it. And if you, the watch party is up. If you want to share it, feel free to do so. In fact, I'm going to, holy crap. All right, so I'm trying to fix something. There should be a watch party on my page, though.
Yay.
I'm not quite sure if I'm actually doing it right because Facebook, again, changed all their layout and stuff like that. I don't know why Facebook always wants to do that. Always
Updating everything.
Yeah, it completely changed the way things work and the whole layout. But anyway, let's get right into it. We're going to start with Nadine. Nadine, what is a project you've done in the last couple years that you were very amped, excited, passionate about, you thought turned out beautiful?
I think my latest project is actually my favorite. I did an animation music video.
Okay, well, now I don't know. We're going to get into that in current. We're going to go into current, so I want you to save that one for current. What have you done in the last couple years, though, before that you thought turned out awesome?
I would say I did a short film, like I produced it and I wrote it, and it's called Sweet Cider. It's on my YouTube channel, Nadine Emmerich, and I think that was a huge accomplishment because
And it was called what? I missed the title.
Sweet Cider.
I heard cider. I didn't hear the first part.
Sweet Cider.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
One of the nicknames Andrew had in the wrestling ring was Sweet Cider. It was a short
No way.
No.
Are you joking?
They put him in a fluffy dress and
Yeah.
No.
I was more like the Red's Apple Ale guy.
Or the Angry
what was
Orchard.
the premise of the short?
I'm sorry, say that. You tell it.
What was the premise of the short?
It was basically about a girl who kind of like tries to break up with the guy in a very unconventional way, and it backfires on her.
So is it a comedy drama?
Yeah, it's like a comedy dramedy type deal. It's funny. And George Diaz is in it. He's funny. Sandra Verona produced it. She's an amazing producer and a great friend of mine. And it did really
you
well.
act in it as well as write it, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was like the actress in it. Yeah.
Very cool. Did you submit it to festivals and stuff?
Yeah, I did get in a few festivals, and I was kind of working on maybe a web series out of it, kind of pitching it to some people and seeing where that went. But then I got into music, so.
Well, send it to Del West, and I'll link you up to him. He runs.
Oh my God, no! I played with Del West at the film festival.
Action on Film Festival.
It was in Action and Film. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, Del was the first one to give me my big break, like, I don't know, 7 years ago, something like that.
I love Del.
Del is a beautiful spirit. He's a good friend of mine. But yeah, and that's the one festival I always shove, because now they have like 28 of them under that festival. So that's who I push people at.
So they have other festivals under the festival.
Yeah, it's
that Del
like under one.
Yeah, there's something like, I mean, I think 28 is an exaggeration, but they have something like 15. Del runs like about 15 different festivals now that all are under the umbrella of Action on Film Festival.
Oh wow, that's a huge deal. Like a big.
Yeah, and they're in Vegas now. So originally when I met him, that festival was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they were probably the second biggest festival next to the LA Film Festival in LA. And then he wanted to be King Daddy, so they went to Vegas.
How's it doing there? I haven't been to the Vegas festival. Is it really
about 4 years ago, maybe, I think, when they went over there. And then 3-4 years ago. And now they're the biggest festival in Vegas. And then he ended up expanding and creating all these other festivals. But very, very, very cool. And then did it do well in the festivals?
Yeah, I think so. I think it did really well. I mean, a lot of people, it was really interesting to watch it in an audience, and then you wrote it. And you're like, oh, I wrote this, and people are laughing. Like I think that was,
Yeah, it's a trip seeing it on the big screen.
yeah, and the fact that people laughed and stuff, I was like, wow, okay. And then a magazine in Beverly Hills wrote it up. It was a Beverly Hills directory, and I didn't like pay for the advertising or anything, but the girl really liked the idea of, because she could relate to it. She was dating a guy for about 3 months, and I mean, I would rather people watch it, but she said, oh, I really had a crush on this guy, but he was just too nice, and I couldn't like continue to date him, and she had to break up with him, so she kind of related. That's why
Never quite got that. Like, nice guys, women are like, eh.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
then
of
like assholes, women are like, oh my God, he's so hot.
yeah. It depends on where you're at, I think, on your relationship journey, but I wrote
Yeah, as a
this.
person, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think I wrote this, and men and women relate to it, because men relate because they're like, I am the nice guy, or that's why I'm not nice anymore, or whatever it is. So, and
I
George
know. I
is
mean, I'm like you. I'll write like these serious stuff, and then I'll put myself on screen, and everyone starts laughing, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is dramatic.
yeah.
And then they just keep looking at me and cracking up, and I'm like,
I got
man.
word for that. Pop. I just for that.
Yeah, and I didn't even have to break out my glass cock.
I guess I have a similar vibe, because I was like playing it very serious, like the bitch kind of. But George was definitely the opposite. He was a little bit of the funnier kind of character. But yeah,
I have a short film I want to write, but it's actually the opposite of that. It's called Princess Love, where this crazy, insane princess, Arabic princess, is on her second date with this little nerdy white kid, and she's just railroading him, telling him that he's going to marry her and all that stuff. And and she's in the middle of dinner breaking out dildos. And
oh my God.
anyway, well, it's a comedy. So, but I hear you. Those are fun to write, those little dramedy things. Let's go back to Andrew. Andrew, hey, I want to, and for all you people out there that have either are watching this, are going to watch this, or in the future will watch this, either here on YouTube, I want you to know that right now, Andrew Anderson holds the record by himself at the top as the champ, as the guest most often on this show at 4 times. 4 times he's been on this show. He is now the undisputed. He was tied with Vicky Dolly, but now he's the undisputed champ. Well, that is until we have Vicky again, but still.
I'm going to message Vicky later and say, I beat you.
What was I going to say? So he is the undisputed champ. We all love having Andrew here. He's a good friend of mine, and he's always a barrel. Andrew, so what have you done in the last short time? Because I know we've talked to each other. I think you were on the show like 5 months ago or something like that.
Well, I just started to break out a documentary that we did on me and pro wrestling about 7 years ago called Behind the Ropes.
No, I remember us talking about it when you were in the midst of trying to do it.
Yeah, well, now we lost the funding on it because originally we had a company that was backing us, and they decided to make a move and back the Broadway play Gigi, which was highly successful, won a couple of Tony Awards in Manhattan at the Tonys and everything. So they did the right move for themselves, but that kind of left Behind the Ropes out in the cold. So for the past, I guess the COVID-19 months, Matt Adams, the principal photographer on the and cameraman on the set, he basically broke out, and all the footage has been emailing me every week or messaging me clips saying, can we use this? Can we use this? Do we want to use this? Because a lot of the stars that were on it with me, like Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, George the Animal Steel, and Jim Neidhart, have since passed.
Yeah.
So we have basically the holy grail of a lot of footage with them as friends of mine over the past few years. So now we're looking to do 7 years later what was then and how wrestling has changed, because the landscape has definitely changed so much in wrestling in 7 years.
Hey, it's nice though to see that there's actually some new wrestling organizations giving a WWE a run for their money now. And
Yeah.
WWE isn't just by itself. Because you have the new NWA, is that what it is?
WA is out there, but they're
And then
flying
you have the Nitro or the what was that? The TNT one.
AEW.
Yeah, AEW. So they have competition again.
Yep. Billy Corgan runs the National Wrestling Alliance. Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes' son, runs the AEW with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and that crew. And so it's just it's a lot of competition, a lot of places to work now.
Because for a while WWE had none. After WCW went bye, WWE really had no one competing, and they were pretty much could carte blanche, do whatever they wanted to do.
Oh yeah, it was a monopoly, a total monopoly, you know. But little by little, but the independent scene took over, you know, and it just became, you know, like my character flourished on the indies, and when
WWE was just becoming too soap opera, man.
It's horrible, and it just they just don't seem like they get it, you know. And now the empty arena wrestling, it's, you know, it doesn't look like it's transitioned well like AEW has. AEW has wrestlers watching the wrestlers wrestle now, you know. So, but you know, behind the ropes, we're really trying to put it together. We got the creator of Hill Street Blues, Del Harvey, right now. He's advising me on what to do with footage.
Well, if I can help in any way, man, just let me know.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm gonna need somebody to edit everything. I need help with the editing and everything.
Well, I'll hook you up with Del because I'm not. You're gonna need a good film editor. So I'll, and then I have a friend of mine, David, who is editing something for Del right now on one of his films. David, I forget how to say his last name, Zarach or Zarak. He's like Spanish. I'll hook you up with him, but I'll wait until you get closer to that point when you're ready to do editing.
I'm going through all the footage right now, and then we want to start refilming.
When you're ready for that, let me know, and then I'll put my feelers out. I'm pretty sure I can find someone for you though. And David does like really, he's renowned for editing. He shoots his own films, but he does his own editing on his own films, and his films are like all stunt stuff and are amazing. So, but anyway, very cool, man. Nadine, so let's go back to what you were trying to talk about.
Okay.
Which is your current project that you're excited about.
So, you know, like during this whole COVID thing, I wanted to shoot a new music video, but obviously nobody wanted to shoot with me because of this big scare. But I found this amazing animator who did an animation music video for me with my new song, Fame, Addict, Money, Manic. And at first when I hired him off of Fiverr, this website. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to expect. But my friend told me about this website. You could find some animation people. So I went on there and I asked him to do the project. He did the project. And when I got the email that it was done, I was like, okay, this could be like a stick figure, you know, music video.
Oh, I wasn't giving you samples?
No, he wasn't. He just did the whole video in like a week and a half. And I'm like, what?
Well, because a lot of the animation's done on computers now as opposed to old school drawing.
Right.
Which, like, old school drawing took forever because they had to draw literally like, you know, 100 things to make the guy like wave his hand.
Yeah. So I don't know how animation's really done. It's really not my forte, but I do know that I wasn't expecting it in like a week and a half or something. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks just like me. And the video came out really, really good and very detailed. And I was in shock, and I'm really excited. I think it's my best music video, actually.
Very beautiful. I think I watched it, but I'm not quite sure. I think I did though.
Yeah, like the
posted like 2 weeks ago, a week
better. Huh?
You had it posted like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I did. I just posted it like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I watched it. I'm not sure though. When you get old, all the memories start going like bye-bye, you know what I mean? And all the weed I smoked all my life, so literally it's...
Do you still smoke weed?
Not really. Every once in a giant blue moon. And then, you know, I was in a band for 12 years. So literally, Andrew is, you know, I have no issues with weed, but And then I was in a band for 12 years where half the time we got paid with liquor and, you know, like open bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like I hadn't drank for 3 weeks. And like last night I had 2 beers and I was good. I'm like, okay, I had 2 beers. All right, I'm done. So, I mean, if you had asked me though, like 15 years ago, if I would ever be at a point where I wasn't smoking weed and didn't drink for 3 weeks, I probably wouldn't have even foreseen that future.
Yeah.
But it was one of the major reasons I quit being in bands because I couldn't keep up with that lifestyle.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like getting lit every day. It's too much.
Well, because there wasn't so much, the internet wasn't as huge yet. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't, you had to just keep playing bars. You know, I mean, that was how you got out there.
Yeah. How people are.
We were just drunk all the time.
Kind of like the wrestling business.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're out and about and you're in, you know, and most of the time when you guys got done wrestling, you would hit bars, right?
All we do.
Or wait, did you also like drink before you wrestled? Or?
Oh, on different occasions, yeah. I had some matches on the bottle of Jack Daniels. Read my book. Read my book when it comes out.
Okay, I want to.
Although the one thing that is good, Andrew, is you're more of a power wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, a snooker like doing flips and flying.
Well, I believe it or not, I do all the flips and stuff for my size.
Yeah, but you're not doing like walking the rope and.
No, not walking the rope. No, those days are long over.
Yeah.
I tried to do that a few months ago, just hit the second rope and do a flying elbow off it. And it came out pretty good, but I said, would I do it again? Oh, not again. You know?
No, because you're my age. I want to get you. I think we've talked about this. I'm hoping Blade and Blood blows you up enough so you can just do acting full time.
Oh yeah, so my body's killing me. I got back in the ring.
Well, you're my age. I wouldn't want to do that. That's insane.
Back in the ring, and I practiced, and I haven't taken a bump since March 7th and 8th, 6th, 7th, and 8th of my last matches on tour, and before the COVID thing, and everything's been shut down. The wrestling gyms just opened up again with the ring, the boxing and wrestling gym, and I went there and I worked out, and I just took a few bumps here and there and ran the ropes. Still couldn't have contact with anybody in the ring because the governor's mandates, but I was able to, you know, just bump around and do a couple of flips.
Hey, if NBA players are going to be able to start playing basketball, you guys should be able to start wrestling, man.
Yeah, well, hopefully. See what happens, you know. 4th of July, I'm hosting, I was supposed to be in Texas, but everything with the quarantine, I would have been quarantined at the airport coming home. Southwest sent me an itinerary at places I had to quarantine. So, and I had to fill out an affidavit and give it to the state police, and they would check up on me to make sure I was quarantining for those 14 days. So I said, you know what? Going to Texas ain't worth it. You know, I was looking forward to it. SWE Fury TV tapings in Plano, Texas on Friday, tomorrow night. And then on Saturday, I was supposed to make an appearance at a toy store. And then on Sunday, I was supposed to be at the Global Championship Wrestling reunion, which was a once-in-a-lifetime show. We've seen a lot of guys, but now I found a lot of guys couldn't make it in there. And I'm not going to be at either of the shows. Road Warrior Animal, Joe Laurinaitis will be there. He's hell-bent on going, and you know, but he lives in St. Louis, so he's not going to get quarantine coming back. Because when St. Louis and a quarantine going there, it's because it's not a hotspot, but Texas is a hotspot. So coming back, St. Louis might quarantine him. So it's been a pain in the ass. I've lost a lot of work, and you know, it's been killing me.
Well, and Mark was going to make his debut as the masked Jedi with a COVID mask on. You know, and it was just shockingly disappointing.
He was going to bend over, and I was going to shove the lightsaber up his ass.
Yeah. all he asks is please use lube, please. His
eyes would have glowed when I turned on.
No dry chafing, man.
That's cool.
All right, guys. So let's go back to Andrew. So we talked about behind the ropes. What also, and we talked about obviously what you were supposed to be doing tomorrow. What is another project in your circle right now that you're trying to do?
Most Wanted. I'm supposed to be back on the next season coming up to finish that up, and that
America's Most Wanted.
was FBI's Most Wanted.
Okay,
The TV
but I'm assuming it's the same producers that made America's Most Wanted.
An FBI, a CBS, yeah.
And they do reenactments, right?
Yes. Well, it's a drama. It's a drama. So it's a drama series. So
TV show, right?
yeah, on CBS. So
And you were on it last season.
Yeah, and I just got asked to do. Somebody called me up and asked me if I would be willing to be in the next Avengers movie as a walk-on with a couple other wrestlers to, like sort of like because we're big Marvel fans. And they said,
Well, tell me you want to be on the Wrecking Crew.
I would love to play the Wrecker. I think I would. I actually reached out to Kevin Feige and I sent him some promo shots because everybody for years has been saying I'd make the perfect Sabretooth. So, I'd be the perfect Sabretooth for the upcoming X film when they do it, and I'd be perfect for it.
Well, you'd be good on the Wrecking Crew. I know that.
I'd be good on the Wrecking Crew too. I could play any of the Wrecking Crew guys, but I don't even know.
Driver or no, the guy who's the one that does the ramming?
It's a Bulldozer.
Bulldozer, yeah. You'd be a great Bulldozer, man.
I mean, I know a guy who actually looks like Bulldozer. I would put him because Bulldozer was the biggest height-wise of the crew. I'd probably be better as the Wrecker or Pile Driver, had blonde hair, so I'd probably be with the big fists that just CGI my fist to look like freakish hands, So, but I really was looking forward, hoping to get the role of Sabretooth. That would be awesome. Playing a Wolverine movie, a standalone movie, or an X-Men movie. That'd be pretty killer, and I'm just hoping.
I think people are still waiting to see if they're going to use Hugh Jackman in the MCU.
No, they're not. They already confirmed that.
Because he said when he retired, he said the only way I would come back is if these two places joined and the MCU and X-Men would.
Yeah, they're not. They're using they're going to actually make Wolverine to be 5'4" again, like he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So. More. They're going to be going according to the Marvel canon more.
Mark's trying to say it should be him. Stop.
Mark?
I'm 5'3". Ha ha.
Mark is going to be Obi-Wan Potter Kobe.
Yes, sir.
You still come up blank on my screen. I can't see your handsome face, you handsome bastard.
Swipe the screen.
I swipe
What'd you say?
Oh, there you go. There you are, you handsome bastard.
I'm 5'3".
You're such a liar, Mark. You're like 6'5".
I wish.
Mark's got the COVID beard going.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least he finally cut his hair, man. He was like longer. His hair was getting longer than yours.
Man, I finally got my hair bleached 2 weeks ago.
You know what you could be good as, Andrew? There.
Who's that?
The Rhino from DC.
I would love to play the Rhino. I would love to play the Rhino.
They keep not doing justice to the Rhino in films, dude. They made that giant robot Rhino and
horrible.
It was ridiculously stupid.
Horrible.
Rhino, when I was a kid in the Spider-Man cartoons, I remember Rhino was one of my. I loved it when Rhino was in an episode.
Yeah, Rhino was cool. So, but yeah.
Well, anyway,
so
Nadine's probably getting killed with all this comic book talk. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it. Are you into comics?
I love Andrew's New York accent, so I'm just like mesmerized.
And then, as you can tell right there, if you didn't know, Andrew is an insane Kiss fan.
Actually, I'm
that was his Gene Simmons. Like he literally talked about all his collection of
one of my best friends
figures. He has just as huge a collection of like Kiss memorabilia.
One of my best friends is Ace Frehley from Kiss, and he's actually become one of my business partners. So Ace Frehley, the former guitarist, the original guitarist from Kiss, is now a business partner of mine. And my friend Craig Matthews. So we're involved in a lot of trademarking and stuff like that going on right now. So I can't really disclose anything, but it's going to be big. It's going to be pretty cool. Ace is going on tour August 5th and 8th, and he invited me to come down and see him play. He's playing, I think, one show in Rhode Island and one in Connecticut, and I'll be there for those shows. And so it'll be good. Hell or high water. I hope we still get to do this, So,
Very
but
cool,
Ace is.
man.
I got to plug his album, by the way. I would be amiss if I didn't plug his album. Origins Volume 2 coming out soon. This I think it's coming out in either.
So if you love Ace Frehley from Kiss, he's got a new album coming out.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna have Mark run your music video and your Doritos commercial during the break. So what's the time spent on those? About 9 minutes?
I'm gonna break out the.
Mark, adding those together, what's the time? Like 8, 9 minutes?
I don't remember.
Doritos is 45 seconds, I think.
Oh, okay, so what's the music video?
Probably like 3 minutes.
Okay, so about 5, 6 minutes, you guys. We're gonna take a break. Don't Andrew already knows this, Nadine, but don't disconnect. We'll put the that stuff up to play. So you guys are out there. You're gonna get to see national Doritos commercial with Andrew Anderson in it, and you're gonna be able to see an amazing music video with Nadine doing her thing, and then we'll be back and do the second half of the show. So remember, you guys, you've been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers. Enjoy the intermission, and we will be back momentarily. All right.
Now, Bobby.
Mark,
Did you
Mark,
eat your
throw that up
sister's Doritos?
again. I'll be right back.
You know what's gonna happen if you're lying to me.
Oh my dog. Okay.
Come here, kid.
All right, that's it. I'm gonna count to 3. 1.
And Mark,
2.
also text us down and make sure the sound is working this whole time.
All right.
3.
Power bomb! Clutch that, baby! Drop the elbow!
That's what it does.
One other piece. Not what kind of cheese? Mozzarella?
Well, there he is, on time as usual. He's probably worried since I'm 10 minutes late. Finn is such a nice guy, but I have to break up with him. It's like having sweet cider in the heat of July when all you wanted was a glass of ice water. Between you and me, I can't even believe it lasted 3 months. But my sister tells me I should start dating nicer guys, and maybe I won't be so hurt. So I tried, but seriously, I'd rather feel the pain than nothing at this point. Now I have to try to find a way to break up with him without being the bad guy. Hey, Finn.
Hey, honey, you look amazing. Wow.
Thanks. I wanted to look good for my sexy guy.
I know, I was starting to get worried you were running a little late. Here, beautiful. These are for you.
Oh, I love peonies. How did you know they were my favorite flower?
I listened to you. Remember that dinner at Trattoria Amici? You mentioned they were your favorite. Total recall.
Really?
Yeah, it was a pretty magical night.
Well, speaking of magical, I've been thinking about us lately, and we need to talk.
Oh, no. It's never good when a woman says that.
Oh, no, don't worry. It's good. Really good.
Oh, okay. Well, what is it then?
Well, we've been together for 3 months now, and it's been wonderful.
It has.
I just feel like we have such a connection. Like I could really be myself around you.
Oh, really? Me too.
I've never felt like this before. I mean, you even washed my hot pink underwear. What guy does that?
This guy.
I just knew you were the one. That night we went out and I had all that red wine and you carried me up the stairs and I threw up all over you and your carpet and your dog.
Yeah. You know, Mr. Belvedere was sick for a week, but.
Hey, Mark, put our emblem on, man.
This should be over shortly.
Yeah, hold on.
So, I think we should do
All
it.
it is black.
Let's get married.
Yeah, I'm about to add something.
What?
I mean,
I'm back.
All right, guys.
I love you. You love me.
We ready?
We were made for each other.
Mark, you've gotten so much slimmer. You're like looking very pale. Oh, that's a white wall. Oh, Andrew, I was telling Nadine and Mark, I forgot that I put all my old band songs on Reverb Nation. So, and I hadn't listened to them for years. So I went on Reverb Nation and was listening to them and then shared a couple on Facebook, but I was laughing.
I
And I'm
saw
like,
you
man,
said Aunt Joanne or whatever it was.
well, that was just me today singing, but I did put Aunt Joanne right before the show started up from Reverb Nation with actually my band with me doing it. But
Cool.
yeah, it was funny, man. Reminiscing. That was like now 17 years ago or 16 years ago.
Very cool.
I was always a much better lyricist than I was a singer, but you know.
Well,
So
we would.
we can hear it on the Reverb Nation or Facebook or both.
I posted 2 of them on my Facebook, but yeah, there's like 10 of them, I think, on Reverb Nation.
Well, I was talking to a couple of my friends, musician friends. One of them is Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult. We're talking about possibly putting out an Andrew Anderson metal Christmas album.
Oh yeah, you and your Gene Simmons tongue. Except
Yeah,
Gene Simmons' tongue is a lot longer, I think.
I'm so down. I want to do Christmas, music
You
for
can
so long.
you can sing on it with me.
Yeah, I want to do it. Let's do it.
Andrew, how many? You're going to become buddies with every guest you're on the show with, man. You already like
Right?
you're buddies with Faith now. You're buddies with Jeanette.
Jeanette is dating one of my friends.
Did she meet him
My
through
buddy
you?
Eddie. Yep. She
Yeah, on the
interviewed
show? You met
Jeanette.
on the show?
She
So
was
he
on the
met
show.
Jeanette through the show, and you're telling me that she come to a wrestling show and you introduced her to your friend?
No, actually, one of my friends kept texting me and messaging my friend Eddie, Shining Wizards Eddie. He manages me on some of the indie shows, and he wears his golden suit, looks like the Riddler in the gold lame with the top hat and everything. Anyway, he kept asking me, "Who's this girl? Who's this girl? She was on that Stormcrow thing with you. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous." I tagged him and her in a post, and I said, sister meet brother, brother meet sister, and I was like, whatever, So my brother basically said, Eddie, this is my sister. Sister, this is Eddie, my brother, and they both met, and then they've been inseparable ever since. And the
Very
cutest thing,
beautiful, man. All through Stormcrow, Dreamers talking to Dreamers.
this is the
And I know you're friends with Faith, and I know you're friends with Vicky.
Faith is awesome. Faith is awesome. She actually gave me some hints on she might actually want to help me with my book when it starts coming out. She gave me some advice on it.
Very cool.
Faith
Hunter is another person that was on a show with him. Are we live, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. So Faith Hunter is an amazing and like huge fantasy author. She's probably got like 20 books out. You can go to any Barnes and Noble fantasy section, and she'll have probably half a shelf to just her books. And
Yeah.
so, and she's a friend of mine, and so yeah, and Faith's awesome. And then Vicky, who's also in Blade and Blood, I had them on a show together, and I've known Vicky just almost as long as Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And you become friends with Vicky as well. So
An actress, and she was on the show, the second show I did, and she met my manager friend. I introduced them kind of, as a joke, and now they're like hot and heavy dating. And
You're talking about Jeanette, yes.
yeah, Jeanette Pacifico. And the
Jeanette
best-
is an actress as well.
She's East Coast
who-
with me, by me, in New Jersey. And the best was she actually moonlights as a mail carrier during the day. So
Yeah, so I mean, but you got to also understand that I usually, for the most part, I only have people close to me that are like good spirits, man. You know what I mean? So now that doesn't cover everyone I've ever had on the show, because some people I've had on the show I didn't really know, you know. So, but a lot of the people I have on my show are people that I've known for a long time, and anyone that I keep around me close are all good-hearted people. Otherwise, I wouldn't, regardless of the connections, I wouldn't keep them around me.
well, I got another funny story to tell you. One of the websites that sells a lot of my merchandise is prowrestlingtees.com. And the Andrew, the Reinforcer Anderson shirt, the shirt with me, I picture me with no shirt on with the chains roaring at the crowd, whatever. Well, that's one of the t-shirts that was highlighted. Well, Eddie bought the t-shirt and she stole it and she posed with it on, and I put it on the website and on my Facebook page and a bunch of other places with the get your Andrew Anderson t-shirts at this site. And she posed with it and people were buying it. They want to see that beautiful girl wearing that t-shirt. So I said, Eddie, don't you take that shirt back.
Yeah, Jeanette is a good person, man.
Ding.
But that's happy. That means bromance, love came out of Stormcrow. Dream was talking to me.
Wow.
That's good to hear. But it's not the only story. There's many other guests I've had on that have become really good friends with each other. And to me, so I started this show with Mark, and I had wanted to do the show for many years before we finally I put it together, you know. And one of the main reasons was obviously to be able to shine lights on other people and their art. But a secondary thing that's come out of it, I think, is probably one of the most beautiful, is how many, away from even just Andrew, but other guests, how many strong connections that have ended up helping each other. And you know how this industry works. The industry works, you got to know the right people, you got to get connections, doesn't matter how talented you are. If you do not know the correct people, that talent is going to mean very little.
Yep. So
You
true.
know, I mean, talent can draw those connections to you, but you still got to have those connections, man. So, like when I talk to writers that are like, never put their writing anywhere because they're afraid someone's going to steal it, I'm like, if you live life like that, you're not going to ever get anywhere, because your writing needs to be out there for people to see your art and your talent, man. So like, literally,
you might as well scribble on a wall in a cave. And
yeah, I mean, you hibernating in a cave, like sitting on all your writing. I don't know how much that's going to help you.
Like
You
a
know
little
what I mean?
troll.
That actually happened to somebody I know, though. Like somebody wrote a script, and this producer took the script, the writers, and said, "Oh, I talked to my lawyer. I changed some things, and I'm using your whole concept and script, and we'll just pay you." Like, and they had kind of no choice because they didn't copyright it.
Wow.
So I think like the most.
I don't know if they had,
copyright.
if they still had all the emails where they sent the script to the script guy and all that stuff. All that stuff is time stamped. Really, all they need is things that are time stamped to show that the
You
copyright
could also
is
get it
there,
registered through WGA and not be a.
Well, I thought that, but they didn't do any registering with any copyright. But
Yeah, but I mean,
with
like
their-
literally, if they had an email that they still had the email that they sent that
They
script to
did.
that person.
They had the email, but what the actual producer did was just like change so much of the script to where technically it wouldn't. That's what they said. The lawyer said technically in court it's not.
I just think they railroaded him and he caved.
Maybe, but people do that, like scandalous.
They do, but you know what? I could write 100 more scripts, all equally well. They would have to keep stealing a ton of scripts, and literally, that's their own karma, man. I don't know anybody that rolls through life like that and doesn't get. I remember Mariah Carey finally divorced the head of Sony Music. She was married to the head of Sony Music for a long time. But during that marriage, she had gotten sued like 4 or 5 times because the head of Sony Music kept taking these broke artist lyrics that were being sent to him and giving them to Mariah Carey and putting her name on it.
That's so
and never paying those people anything or putting their name on it or any kind of credit. And she kept getting major lawsuits thrown against her. And I think the last time she got sued for it. They literally got divorced within 6 months after that. So the guy did it, and the guy got away with it for the most part.
Yeah.
They settled out of court, I think, every time. But it cost him his marriage. It cost him. I don't know anyone that acts that shady that is not a miserable person and is not their own demon. You know what I mean?
Right. Like karma is gonna get them, right?
Well, and then people that are like that, those type of people are always looking behind them. They're always spending their entire existence looking over their shoulder for someone they screwed over.
That's just blatant theft, if you ask me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. People think they get away with stuff, but really, it's their own spirit and their own mind that they're chewing on. It's like that concept of the snake biting its own tail. You know what I mean? It's literally they're chewing on their own spirit. No one can be that dark and shady without eating their own spirit and being miserable people. Like a great analogy is band. When I was in that band in Seattle, I booked my band and like 20 other bands. So I would just book the whole night at the club and then set my own bands, which my band and whatever other bands I wanted to play that night. But in that, I had to deal with all those club owners, and I've yet to deal with a club owner that wasn't shady as whatever. And all of them were unhappy, miserable people, man. They all had money. They all had all that. But they were like, literally, when you were talking to them, it was just like waves of misery. Like
Promoters.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't. You can't. You can maybe have money, but you can't. I guarantee you're not a happy person if you're all your money and your whole lifestyle is based on being shady.
Promoters are like that, and it was yesterday was a very sad day for me because I lost Joe Pizza, who was one of the greatest promoters that I ever worked for in the Ohio area, Toledo, Ohio, Canton, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio, and parts of upstate New York. He ran a lot of big arena shows, and I had a lot of fun with him, but he had passed away, and he was a guy who was one of the few people for wrestling promoters. I could name a handful, maybe 10 promoters out of thousands that are just, most of them are probably the shits, and a few of them just aren't shady, and this guy was one of the good, and I was like, we lost one of the best yesterday, and
but he was probably a happy person. He might not have as much money as some of those really shady dudes. But
you know him, he looked like he could have been a character from The Sopranos or from Goodfellas. We called him Joe Pizza, and he was real name was Joe Catanzariti, and he was a great guy, and he was a little diminutive guy, and he was just so fun to be around with, and he never shorted you in pay, and he always took care of the boys, made sure you had food before, during, and after the show, took you out to all the bars and whatever you wanted, and took care of you. It was just a freaking class act, and I hate to see somebody like that pass away. I mean, I love them. Joe Pizza, if you're up there, this one's for you, buddy. I love you.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I've always been confident in my writing ability, so I've always put my writing out there. People want to steal it, they can steal it. Now, granted, I still register with the WGA and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to change.
Copyright it, right? But these guys didn't copyright it. It wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, WGA is like $20. So, I mean, literally. And then Library of Congress is more expensive, which is a direct copyright. But WGA is fine. Or even do the old school copyright and mail it to yourself and don't ever open the envelope or whatever. But I'll never go through life worrying about what other people are going to do. I've had lyrics stolen. I've had plenty of times where people have tried to steal shit from me. I've even had crazy ladies where they walked up and said a song I wrote, I stole from some boyfriend of theirs that I'd never met in my life or didn't know anything about him. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all are nuts, dude. But I'm not going to go through life worrying about shady people in the world, man. Because really, I'm confident enough in my ability to know I can write 100 more. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And all my shit's good. But I think if you worry too much about, if you run your life too much about based on other people, you're going to be very content in your life. You know what I mean? You got to just be you and do your thing. Let other people's shadiness be their thing.
Yep.
But that's my thing. But anyway, let's go back to Nadine. What is a project in the next in the near future that you're excited about that you want to do?
Well, I'm definitely ready to do some new music, I think. And also, I might just guerrilla style a music video, like from my house. I don't know. But my Trouble song, I want to do a video to that. Just kind of hanging out with maybe my close friends and we'll video it or something. And I'm
Let
definitely.
me know if you need any ideas or help or whatever. I mean, obviously that's what I do. I'm a filmmaker. But
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess ideas of how I could do it right now with this whole COVID thing. Maybe just
you just have to give me the song and I'd be able to just look at the song and see the theme and break it down and then tell me whether you have access to, and I could come up with at least a plan for you to.
And I know a lot of session players that if you need somebody to do it like from their home, I know a lot of there's awesome bass guitarists.
Really?
You know, yeah, really good guys that would be
That's
happy.
what Stormcrow's about, man. Dreamers talking to dreamers, helping each other out.
The best bassist on the planet is a friend of mine, Anthony Senator. He's on my Facebook page, and he can help you with soup to nuts with anything you need. He's worked with worked with everyone from Hall & Oates to Ace Frehley.
He plays music and he makes his own soup.
Yeah, right. You're a jackass sometimes. That's why I love you.
Anyway, so very cool. So hey, utilize the people around you, Nadine. We can make a music video in your
yes, and a Christmas song, Andrew. Let's do it.
Yep, let's do it. Let's do an original, and we could redo one of the classics, or we can even do something like Spinal Tap's "Christmas with the Devil."
And then Mark has a beautiful yellow summer dress that he would love to wear.
Yeah, with his lightsaber hanging out.
A shattered lightsaber. A yellow summer dress with a shattered lightsaber.
Yeah, it's some difficulty using that one that day, huh?
Just think of the things you could do with that image, man.
Wow. Wow. No, we're not going to use
500 million views.
Yeah, on Pornhub, right?
Viral.
It'll be 400 million views on Pornhub, pal.
No, Nadine, my main thing though is I usually like doing shadow lighting, noir lighting. But I think with your skin and the curvatures and your style, I think you would look good in that noir look. And you can do it easily because you can use cardboard and house lamps to make directional light.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool for this song too, the Trouble song, because it's like your trouble, oh your trouble, but I like it, I love it. So it's like
jazzy.
Yeah, so maybe like the whole noir theme is somewhere I should need to go.
Yeah, and noir doesn't necessarily mean black and white. Noir is just a lighting style. It means you're lighting something from one side, and so you're creating heavy shadows on the other side. And then then you can choose which side you're shooting on. You know what I mean? If you want to you can shoot from the shadow side and just see a little bit of lighted side on the far end, or you can flip that and see. And that's the cool thing about noir is change how you're shooting that lighting to change the style of it.
What
did you say, Andrew?
I said, Mr. DeVille, I prefer my left side.
Yeah. What was I say?
I'm gonna do noir. I decided, like, that's a brilliant idea because you could do it in the house, like you could do it in your apartment.
And with noir lighting, you just need to get some lamps, or if you don't have one, buy one, and then get some cardboard, and you just take the lampshade off and make a funnel cardboard circle, tape it up, make it like that so you can direct it, and then just change the light bulb intensity to get a punch out of it.
Okay. Yes.
And then you can make, so with cardboard as well, you can make flaps, or you can buy some white poster board to make a bounce.
True. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to get more advice from you.
And you have that, you got that like 1940s, 50s classics, like Hollywood starlet look to you.
Yeah, that's what made me think about it. And you can do it black and white, but you can always turn it. You can always shoot it color and turn black and white in post. So
Yeah, maybe do like black and white with like that red lip where it's kind of like almost.
you're talking Sin City, and that's not easy to do. That's hard. That's difficult.
Hey, my buddy was in Sin City.
Pleasantville, Sin City, making certain things color.
My co-star from The Wrestler was in Sin City. Don't knock that movie. I love Mickey Rourke.
I love Sin City. What are you talking about?
No, I'm only busting on you.
But that editing, that effect is very difficult to pull off. I love that effect. It's one of my. When that film first came out, I thought you would start seeing a bunch of films like that.
Oh.
And you didn't at all, because I think because literally they had that in post for like 8 months, and they had millions of dollars working on it. You know what I mean? So
yep.
It's a not easy effect because people are moving. So literally they're having to digitally put that in color.
Got it.
While those people are moving. So that means literally they're having to do it frame by frame. You know what I mean? But I love that effect, though. I agree with you. That's amazing.
I call it the Blair Witch effect when a
and
movie
maybe
comes.
It's gotten easier. The technology obviously is advanced, so I don't know in current day whether that's an easier. I'm not a effects editor, so that might be something that has become a lot easier to do. I don't know. Sin City 2 though was horrible. Frank Miller's got to quit trying to direct stuff, man.
I didn't even know there was a second one.
There was, and it was horrible. Frank Miller, if you didn't know, Sin City was based on Frank Miller, who's a comic book writer. His comic book, and Rodriguez made the mistake of letting him be on set and kind of giving ideas. And then all of a sudden, Frank Miller thought that he would be a brilliant director, and then he ended up making The Spirit, which was horrible. The only good thing in that was a shot of Eva Mendes's ass. That was about the only good part about that film. And then he went on, and I think and did Sin City 2, and it was also not. Just because you're a brilliant, and Frank Miller is a brilliant comic book writer, does not make you a brilliant film director.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it when I see people that they're really good at one thing, and that thing they think that automatically makes them really good at whatever they decide they're really good at.
I think he found out quickly.
What now?
That I think he found out that quickly.
I don't know. There was a couple years between The Spirit. I mean, maybe someday he will be, but I just don't. Comic books are very different than scripts and film. You know what I mean? Now, comic books are format-wise about as close as you can get to film scripts.
To a storyboard.
Writing styles. I mean, they're very similar.
Like what a breakdown.
In fact, you have dialogue, you have action, you have you know what I mean? The way they're broken down word-wise.
Yeah, but it's almost like a storyboard.
Yeah, it's like a storyboard.
It is, yeah. I mean, they're very similar formatting-wise, but like as far as the writing, but still different than film directing if you're shooting your own film. That's why there's so few brilliant writer directors, and why when they make it, those guys get carte blanche. You know what I mean? Like because there's so few of them. There's very few Tarantinos, Coen brothers, Del Toro's, Rodriguez's, guys that are like brilliant writers and brilliant directors. There's not very many of them. But almost every director I meet or every screenwriter I meet all think that they are those things. Like, how many times have you watched a director who decided that all of a sudden they're a great writer, and then they were actually are talented directors, but then you see the thing they wrote and it's like horrible, you know? Or the other way around, a scriptwriter that decides to all of a sudden shoot their own films. You know, I give all beautiful blessings to anybody trying to do their art, but you also, I think, have to have a honesty with yourself and truth with yourself as well as an artist on whether your skills are good or not good. You know what I mean?
Like a gauge. You have to gauge yourself, like, you know, where you're going with your art. If you're good,
you have to have self-truth.
Like,
you have to have self-awareness.
You know when you're good and know when you're bad.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
there's songs of mine that I look at and wow, that's not that great of a song.
But Also,
So
getting the
you have to have that ability to be aware of yourself. I think.
it also has people look out for you too, not just like
Yeah,
talk.
that's true.
Well, and real friends around you, they're going to tell you the truth as opposed to ass
That
kissers.
sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, my girlfriend's always like, you need to invite me to your music video so I can make sure your makeup is better. And my producer friend Sandra, she's always like, you better at least have me at the music video so I can make sure that you look good, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you want.
I don't know. All my friends, whenever I'm not really an acting, I can act, but it's not my thing. Whenever I decide to get in front of the camera, all my friends are like, "We don't want to be there, man. It hurts enough just to look at you in real life, dude. We can't."
That is so
I have great friends, man. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think so, no.
I
Very
would not
supportive.
say that.
They're like, keep the glass cock off the camera, man.
You got a face for radio.
Put that back in your drawer.
It's like, Mark, do you have some kind of filter right now on him, or?
I'm sorry.
I said, Mark, do you have like a filter on him right now, or no? Just
Yeah, I mean they should.
kidding. Is this really what you look like?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? God made me a brilliant writer. He made me skilled at a lot of arts. He can't give me everything, man. Wouldn't be fair.
I like beating people up and making money.
Woo,
Mm.
woo.
How's your okay? So Nadine, what was this casting thing you want to get to?
Oh yeah, tonight I started doing this casting workshop, which basically, you know how actors have to audition now and they have to film themselves, which is pretty awkward if you're doing it alone.
It's very awkward.
But that is what I do. I don't like doing live auditions.
Doing that for 4. Well, actually, I've been doing it for about almost better part of 8 months, 9 months so far.
When I'm casting, I ask for self-taping, man. I don't want to listen to a bunch of bad acting. I got to be able to hit stop and pause and.
Yeah, so this casting workshop, he's basically helping us. Like, we'll do a video each week. It's only 4 weeks, and he's going to critique it, like how we can shoot it better and what the casting directors will look for in these videos and little tidbits. So it's actually a really good. Let me tell you what his company is called.
My biggest pet peeve when I was casting is be off book, man.
Yep.
I hate when people have 3-4 days or whatever it is to make a self-tape. I hate it when all of a sudden they wait till the last second to send it to me, and then there they are on camera with the script right in front of their face going blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you've had 4 days to like memorize one scene, and you can't.
I've been there.
I've 100 times and sent me the best one, and then that's what you're sending me is you just
Wait, like
reading off a
they'll
page.
send it like video like that? Like
They'll send me a video of them literally with a
That's
script
horrible.
right in front of their face, reading right off the page, man. And I'm like, holy cow, dude. Why would I want you on a set? You can't memorize one scene in 4 days?
I had my 13-year-old daughter, she was 13 at the time. I had her film my my Sneaky Pete audition, and I sent that in, and I got it within 3 hours. I got it. I was like, I said, Hope, you did a great
I mean,
job.
that's your job as an actor. I mean, like literally, that's your job. It's your job to know the character, to know the dialogue, to know the that's your job. I mean, it's literally it's like me going to a producer and saying I need money for my script, and then me not having a script.
right.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, it's my job. Everyone has a job. Just make sure you do your job. Like when I'm on set, I don't care about a flub or something like that. But if I'm on set and we're ready to shoot, and these people have been cast for 3 or 4 weeks, if they show up to my set and they don't know their dialogue, and I got to keep stopping shooting, like literally, time is money in a film, man. You know what I mean? Like, and we have set aside a certain amount of time to shoot a certain amount of stuff, and then multiply that by how many days you've got, whatever. If you have to keep stopping, and I'm a very quick shooter, I only do 2-3 takes, and then I'm on to the next shot. You know what I mean? So if I have to keep stopping because the actor over and over and over again can't remember their dialogue, I will never use that actor again, like literally.
1 minute is $15,000.
Well, that's a number you're pulling out of your ass.
Nope.
No, that would
No,
be
because it totally depends on what you're shooting, man. Like literally. If my
Right.
1 minute is blowing up 5 cars, then it's a lot more than 15 grand.
yeah, it's more like 50,000.
Well, no,
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. It can totally depend. That Hollywood likes throwing numbers. I like that, but that's totally. And then they like saying like 1 page is, I don't know, 2 minutes
1 minute.
of film time.
One
and
page
that's-
per 1 minute.
Yeah, and that's completely wrong too.
It depends on what's going
man.
on.
If I have a long ass fight scene that's all in 1 page, that fight scene is probably 3 or 4 minutes of screen time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Yes,
mean that's ridiculous. You can give a roundabout. So if you have like I have Blade and Blood, that script of mine that we're shooting probably now early next year. It's 107 pages long, but that's going to be a 2-hour movie
Wow.
because it's got a bunch of fights, got a bunch of actions, got a bunch of stuff. It'll be 2 hours long. I mean, it'll be a 2-hour film.
Are
Right.
you going to premiere it with at Dell's Film Festival when it's done?
Am I going to what?
Are you going to have it at Dell's Film Festival when it's
Well, I
done?
have a producer, so I don't get to just make those decisions. So I will do my best.
Okay.
I will do my best
Awesome.
to, if it's up to me, that would be where it would premiere. But when you have a producer and they're the ones with money, you don't get to just make those calls.
Yeah.
Right.
You do if you're already made 3 feature films that have made shit tons of money, then you get a little more say so. But my agreement with her is she gets to hire the crew. She gets her say in approving cast, and she gets to decide who all the crew is, and then she gets some of those decisions. My thing was, don't mess with my creativity.
Right.
So she gets all that, and I get free reign on how I want to shoot it.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
Yeah, I highly doubt that that she's still not going to put 2 cents in on the creativity side, but I can at least say, hey, we had a deal when she does that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of artists messes themselves up sometimes like this, whether it be actors or writers or filmmakers. They haven't established themselves yet as far as monetarily. They might have been doing it for 30 years and are really gifted skill-wise.
Yeah.
And that takes a certain amount of ego. Anyone that says you're going to make it as a talented artist and not have ego is ridiculous. A lot of talent in something has an inherent ego in it. You know what I mean? It's part of why you are very good at whatever you're doing. But at the same time, do not shoot yourself in the foot with your ego. Until you've established you could be the best whatever you are ever, but until you've established that you make money for people, you've got to be able to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I was younger, I had opportunities and I blew them because my ego was out the roof. You know, and I was demanding shit that I didn't deserve because I hadn't established the fact of me making money for people.
What was one
I
of
have
your
one feature that made a bunch of money for someone, then I have now established that I make money.
What would be one of your demands that you're speaking of? Like, what would it be? Like when you were starting out?
No brown M&Ms in the dish.
Oh, when I had a feature, my first feature script, we had some people that were interested in it, but I was being this extreme, and this is a long time ago, like probably 12 years ago yeah, probably about 12 years ago. I was being egotistical, like I'm the best thing ever and saying, and we blew the budget way past what it should have been when they asked us what kind of budget we would need. Probably we could have done that film for like maybe $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying 15 million.
Okay, so you didn't get the
just
money.
so that we could make a ton of money off of it.
Got
Now
it.
that wasn't literally my idea, but I went along with it.
Got it.
And that was a total ego thing.
Did you get the money, or did they
No.
say they?
No, the
Yeah.
producer, that ego ended up blowing the whole thing up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they went along with it for a little while longer, and they I think trying to give us a chance to come back to reality, but we didn't, and it blew the whole deal up.
What movie was that?
My first film I ever wrote, Billy Rockstar. It was based on I had written a stage play first, that we were talking about wanting to get some funding together and do like the stage play was a musical based on my band, and then with actors and dancers and stuff like that telling a story. And so I'd written that first, and then I ended up writing a feature based on it called Billy Rockstar. It wasn't my first script. I had written a bunch of short scripts, but that was my first feature script that I wrote. And now I have, I think, 6 feature scripts, and then probably 3 half finished, and like another 25 outline. But it was a good learning lesson. It doesn't, making bad mistakes is never, it's a good thing as long as you learn from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're making the same mistakes over and over again, then it's a bad thing. But that's how we learn. That's how we become better at what we are, is by failing. As long as we learn from it.
Yeah, you just build confidence along the way. I remember not performing. It was like sometimes live, I would get so nervous, and I would be like, oh my God, like the only thing I was nervous about was forgetting the lyrics of my own songs. But like once I got out there and like I let go of like this idea in my head, I did fine. But I swear sometimes I would have like anxiety before I went on stage, but you get over it like after you perform like a few times. And I honestly was pushed into performing musically at bigger places starting out. So it was actually really intimidating, like the Mint in Hollywood and like the Soho House in Malibu and things like that. So I had to like perform.
Well, I know those places. I lived in LA for 8 years. So I know those places.
Yeah. So, but I definitely had anxiety probably my first few performances.
That is totally normal. I started off as a slam poet 30 years ago. And I remember the first open mic I ever went to, because back then that was how you did it. You had to go to open mics and perform. I forgot to breathe and almost passed out.
Yeah, you forget to breathe. And now I just tell myself, okay, if you have to take a big breath on stage, like, no, like no matter how you look, like.
Well, I was so nervous that literally I was so focused on trying to remember the words.
Yeah.
I realized all of a sudden I started like getting dizzy, and I realized I wasn't breathing.
Yeah, that happened.
I used to come running out in my opening of my matches like a madman, cursing at the crowd, screaming at them, heckling the crowd, hecklers heckling them back. And by the time I got in the ring, I was so blown up I didn't even know where the hell we were starting. We're starting hot, or we're starting with a lockup, or what the hell we're doing. So
you did like an adrenaline dump before you even got out there.
A few years,
you overextended yourself in the beginning.
I'm just out there cocky as hell.
But we become better. It's okay. We become better by failing and tripping and falling and all that kind of stuff. As long as we're self-aware enough to try to learn the lessons that were garnered. You know what I mean?
But still get butterflies after 26 years every match, whether it's 10 people audience or 10,000 people. I still get butterflies. So I found a really good method to that. You take a couple of deep breaths. And you make believe you're going to meditate, and when you're looking up, you pop a Xanax real quick, and everything's done.
Did you say you pop a Xanax?
Yeah.
Hey.
My thing was always different. I got my little tutu, and I did a pirouette in front of everybody, and then I was fine.
Hey, at least you didn't pop ecstasy.
No, because I would have the wrong.
This is bad.
No, because then Andrew would stop in the middle of the match and just want to hug.
Yeah, right.
Just hold me.
You don't need me to hump in the ring post.
Oh my God. I could never. That's another thing. I could never like really I'm gonna perform, maybe I can have like a little tiny shot or something. But if I drink over that, then I'm actually more nervous. Like I'm more sensitive when I drink or like have.
Oh my God! Half my shows when I was in a band, I was drunk off my ass.
When I was doing those scenes for Gotham, I was cramping up with after doing all the stunts and that. I took a couple of muscle relaxants and my body was cramping up and I felt like no pain. So I was like, you know what, just keep doing it. And then, after 40 bumps on the concrete, take after take after take, they use the one where I get shot and bounce off the 57 Chevy and slide down in one take. They use that one. So, but I always say
After.
Gotham took 2 years off my life. I say that one episode.
Oh my gosh.
That was so brutal. I had to literally land
And
on.
his hair was taller than I am tall. Like his hair was literally was as tall as I am, man.
Look like Johnny Bravo.
Director do so many takes. That's too many.
It was just it was hitting every angle. It was Catwoman's first kills on the show, and he wanted everything to be perfect. Took 40.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of shit tons of takes, man. I'm like, it just drives
They
me
should
nuts.
have had all angled of cameras everywhere. Like
Nah.
Well, you can't do that.
They can't do that.
You'll
No,
get
they can do a 3 camera setup, but
Yeah,
not
they could.
most of them don't do that. They usually have 2 cameras.
2 cameras,
Yep,
You-
A and B cam.
Yep.
And you got to remember, on most TV shows, they're having literally a different director almost every episode. So literally, there's no continuity and flow between the crew. I mean, most of the crew's the same, so there's whatever there. But then these directors, because they're only there for like maybe they got hired for 2 episodes that season, and those episodes are spread apart. They come in all cocky, wanting to make their stamp.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like literally, they're
They want to have the best like scene possible, like out of the whole series, right?
Well, yeah, and it just kind of drives crews nuts because they're there every episode and they're trying to just get through it. And every director, not all of them, but a lot of them will come in and go, "Oh, I only got 1 episode in this whole season or 2 episodes in this whole season, so I want to like stamp my."
spin on.
Had your pay on that payment 40 times. Poor guy.
It was horrible. It was all I had, and then they decided to give me knee pads, an elbow pad, put under the
Like
leather.
after the fact, or
Yeah. After like 25 bumps or something like that, 30 bumps, I lost count. That was brutal. And I actually had the wardrobe. I kept telling them, and I told them 10 times, size 12 and a half. I said, they said, we'll have them for you. I was in size 12s running around, but I could barely walk by the final takes. So that was brutal.
I remember I was on doing background on a TV show because that was what I did for 8 years for a living. I was stand-in and background on TV and film, whatever, in LA. But this director was insane. They didn't even have stunt guys. They had those military people they hire, like to play. A lot of TV shows will hire ex-military to play SWAT or whatever it is. One of the guys that does that is Sarge. He's a very cool guy. But they had those guys there, and they are precision drivers, but they're not stunt drivers. These are not stunt guys. They might be ex-military, but there's a difference between that and actually stuntmen. You know what I mean? That do these kind of stunts all the time. So this wasn't a planned shot at all, but this scene was all these like there was fire and something had just blown up. So all these pedestrians are all acting crazy and running around, and these ambulances come up, and these SUVs that have these like whatever secrets or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. I didn't read the script, but they're supposed to be pulling up and getting out. So like 3 SUVs in a row, black SUVs, pull up and get out. Well, and there's all these background pedestrians just running crazy everywhere. So this guy, the camera guy, was on a dolly. So the dolly's, moving, he's shooting at the SUVs. Well, the director decides that he wants these SUVs to come in hot and slam on their brakes right before they get to the camera, right at camera.
okay.
And these are not stunt guys. And that's a real camera guy sitting on a dolly, and these are giant SUVs. And they had not practiced this. The director just decided to do this. Out of the first take, they have me doing a wipe right in front of the camera, which, if you know what a wipe is, like I walk and just block the camera for a hot second. So they want me to do, because I'm like the most experienced background person there, because they know me from doing stand-in and stuff. So they have me do it. They're like, we trust you, JD. So right before the car's coming up, they want me to wipe the camera. So this guy's coming up hot, probably going 30, 35, slams on the brakes. The car's brakes lock. He's like skidding, almost hits a background pedestrian. And literally, I'm jumping out of there. The whole camera guy's jumping off the dolly because this car is coming in too hot, and it ends up stopping like 5 or 6 inches from the dolly.
Oh, wow.
And the dumbass director literally said, oh, let's do that again. And the camera guys, AD, everybody was like, hell no, is that going to happen again?
That's funny.
They're a long.
And I was supposed to be back there a second night doing the same crap. And I told my call-in service, I'm like, no, man, I ain't going back to that.
We have Screen Actors Guild now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going back to that show. That director almost just effing killed me, man.
Yeah, some directors do that. I was on a commercial one time where we were doing like shots on a hill, and there's a bunch of leaves, and the girl would climb up and then come down, but the leaves, I was like, you guys, it's so slippery. Like, I don't know, like, if this is safe, you know, because she's running down a hill with leaves, you know. And I just had like an intuition. I'm like, this just isn't safe. Like, what is he doing? No,
they do that all the time. They do stuff like that.
Yeah, and the girl falls, and the ambulance has to come, and I'm like, I'm not ever working with this director again. Like, I can't.
No, and there are directors like that literally do not look at people as people. They look at them as like movable props.
Yeah, like a shot, and I'm like, yeah,
you know, and it's like literally, I'm like, this is why I will never have respect for Abrams, J.J. Abrams, man. I worked on like 4 different days. I worked on that Super 8.
Oh,
remember that film by J.J. Abrams? And the first time I was there, I was playing a soldier. They gave us these, and this is supposed to be back, whatever, in the 60s or 50s or whatever it is. So they literally gave us an outfit from that time period, but gave us these boots that I think were also from that time period, because literally those boots had like no cushion in them left, and the soles were almost gone. And literally they had us going around in a circle, walking for an hour and a half on those shoes nonstop, to like all of us like had to like all of our feet felt like they were about to fall off. We're like walking on cement with no shoes, with no cushion, and the sole's almost gone, and these big packs on and rifles, and literally for an hour and a half we're going around in a circle, and we weren't allowed to stop because JJ didn't know what exactly he wanted to shoot.
Wow.
What the hell?
And then the second time I was on there, it was late at night in the canyons north, like Laurel Canyons, whatever. And you remember, like during the winter, it gets cold up there.
Yeah.
And it was literally like 35 degrees, and they had really blown up a real train, took an old train and really blew it up. So literally,
that's cool.
the field is strewn with like metal that literally is real metal, and it weighs like a ton. And at one point, before it got night, Abrams was just pointing at arbitrary background people. Some of them were like 56 years old, and telling them to pick up these 80-pound weight things on the ground and run that way. Well, he had a bird's eye camera going. And I was like, dude, pick out stunt guys, or pick out at least 20-year-olds. You're pointing at like 50-year-old background dudes to pick up a 40-pound piece of scrap metal and run over, like, you know, with wooden pallets everywhere, like unsafe ground, just so you can get a shot. And I'm like, you're gonna end up hurting someone, throwing their back out, or you know what I mean, or end up hurting someone. And then that same night, literally, there's 100 background in just these little thin army things, and we have one heater for like 100 background. And you go over, look at Video Village, and there's like 6 heaters
Around
wrapped
him.
around Video Village with like 4 people over there, like the director and.
Oh,
And
God.
I was just like, man, this guy is just such a self-absorbed a-hole.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough night.
I would never ever treat, I don't care how big my film was or my set was, I would never treat people like that, man. I think it's the director's job to make sure everybody on that set is being treated correctly and being taken care of. And I don't care if you have 200 background, I don't care, whatever it is. To me, it is your job as the director to make sure everybody, it starts at the top, and to make sure everybody is being treated correctly and being treated with respect.
That's why I appreciate Clint Eastwood as a director, because he's like
I worked on 4 of his movies, and he is big on respect, man.
Yep, huge on respect. Treats everybody as equals.
Yeah.
As it should be. I mean, you're all there to do the art, right?
No, but there's a ton of them that aren't like that, and it's annoying. I remember working on Nolan's Batman, Christian Bale, and literally we were shooting at 3 a.m. in downtown LA. You're looking at homeless dudes pissing over there, and it's just crackheads and all that stuff. And literally, the where they're holding us was a hotel, but they didn't want to have to take the time to go across the street to the hotel, which is literally like across the street, and go in and grab background. So for 3 hours, they had all this background, some of which were older people, sitting on the curb in case Nolan needed them.
Wow. That sucks.
And I was just like, literally, let them go to holding, man. Holding was in the hotel in a lobby area, like with chairs and tables and heating and all that stuff. And they
I think that's like an AD thing. Like that's like a PA or like an AD thing where I don't really know the director's like. I don't know if it's
the director was right there. All a director has to do is observe. Why are all these backgrounds sitting here for 3 hours and I'm not?
Yeah, that's true.
No, but they don't care. When they get that big, they shouldn't, but some of them get that big. I guarantee you, if that had been a Clint Eastwood set, Clint Eastwood would have said, "Oh, let those people go back to holding." You know what I mean? But some of these guys get so big, they just don't even. Like background doesn't exist to them unless they need them.
My battery's almost dead. Oof.
Yeah, it's fine. We're done. But okay, so real quickly before we end.
Yeah,
Andrew, what is the biggest thing in the next couple years you want to accomplish?
Well, I want to try to get Blade and Blood off the ground. First of all,
that is good, and that's nice. You're talking about my film. That's appreciated.
That's the first thing I want to make sure we go, because we've been working on for about a year and a half, 2 years already. So we're trying to get it off the ground. I think now is the time, and I think it's our time, and I think it's your time, my time, and I think we need to pull that off. In the meantime,
I think she's still looking for one supplemental investor. I think she's funding most of it herself, but she wants to try to find one for like 200K or something like that. I think it's a mill budget is what she's talking about, but and most of it's coming from her. But I think she wants to find one more supplemental investor for like 2.
Hey, I might have something for her.
I don't know. Just give it to. Let me know.
I don't have any. I don't have anything. So
the other thing I want to try to pull off is I want to make sure that this this production company that I'm trying to start gets off the ground. And
is this the Ace Frehley thing?
Yeah, we start making some really good music, hopefully down the road, and
Very
see
cool.
what
like your metal Christmas album.
Well, that's going to be separate. Yeah, that's it's in its infancy. We're just in talking about stages, but right now we're basically doing a lot of.
Are you going to wear 6-inch platforms?
No. I'm going to dress like a demented elf. She's going to dress up like this, and she's going. we're gonna rock the house. No, seriously. I want to try. I really do want to pull off that Christmas album. I pull it, I really do want to pull it off, and I think I got it. I know enough rock and rollers, legends in the business from from Eric Bloom to John Regan to Peter Frampton and Ace Frehley. And I think, you know, with the budgetary issues and everything, I think we could really pull it off, you know? So, you know, hopefully that'll work out.
Well, you know me, man. Anytime you need me to help with something, let me know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe writing something for it, you know? So, and
Anytime,
then
man.
trying to get behind the ropes after all these years. I want to try to somehow connect it 7 years later, and you know, fill in the gaps with that, and FBI Most Wanted, and there's a lot, you know, sky's the
Hey,
limit.
remember, man, all great things are just a bunch of little steps put together,
Yeah.
man. So just
No,
start stepping.
Use the language, Nadine. I like to throw some shit to the wall and hope something, you know?
Just
Bottom
start
line.
stepping, man. All big things are just a bunch of little parts put together. So just focus on each little part and start creating.
And the most important thing is that right now we all get through this pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, plandemic or whatever, you know. But like I always say, I'm interested to see how if the virus is still around after the election.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm really curious. If all those conspiracy theories and all those different.
Well, I'm
the
pretty
left-
sure that it was man-made, but and Trump even started spouting that.
Yeah.
But then he was told by his advisors that that the U.S. government and a bunch of other people involved with the U.S. all funded that lab.
Yep. He was
So
kind of,
then all of a sudden he was immediately stopped talking about it.
yeah. He basically looked like he didn't.
Well, the U.S. would be complicit in it because they
Yeah.
gave a bunch of millions of dollars to that lab.
He didn't know what was going on. You know, come on. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so. I mean, I can't say Republican or Democrat. I don't know if we have a decent choice anywhere.
I just think both. I'm tired of the two-party system, man.
Me too.
I'm tired of the.
No.
It's just
Great
a bunch
party.
of corporate bot people. All the only difference is which corporation bottom.
I mean, Biden's asleep at the wheel, and
Well, they're
and
hiding
Trump-
Biden because they want to like make sure his dementia doesn't get shown on camera that much, man.
Oh, it's hysterical. I love it. It's like, well, you know, and
What was I saying again?
Did you guys see when he said 120 million people died from COVID?
Yeah, he said 120. No,
He
I
lied.
think
I
Trump
was
said,
like,
Trump
120
said
million? Is that your plan?
I think one of them said that, or somebody said it was just like insane. You know, I mean, look, and I think Bill Gates has a lot to do with all of it. You know, I really do. I don't want a vaccine from that guy. That guy's creep. He's like a creepy uncle. You just want to like kick in the butt and push him in a closet, man. I mean, that guy's a creepy son of a bitch. So, he is.
I don't know,
Tell
man.
me, tell me, tell me Bill
there's,
Gates don't look like he has bodies in the basement. You know, Bill
To me,
Gates
the
has to have
biggest
bodies
thing
in the
that you
basement
could
somewhere.
change is stop the 40 years of trickle-down economics.
Yep, yeah, I agree.
That
Yeah.
is like 3/4 of all of our issues with this country are created by the 40 years of trickle-down economics. All the monopolies and
I agree.
the housing crisis and everything has been, let's keep giving all the money to these corporations and rich
Yep.
people, and somehow it's going to
Yep.
help everyone else.
It doesn't help
It has
everybody
done
else.
the
The rich
opposite
help the
of that.
rich.
It has done the opposite of that. It has made a majority of the Americans poorer and struggle harder from 4 decades of that shit. And yet nothing changes, man. Not even Bernie will tackle
I think
trickle-down
it'd be great.
economics.
I think it'd be great in the Oval Office. But you know, Saturday Night Live, and if Johnny Carson was alive, that have a field day with President Glasscock.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like being. I would never be a politician, brother. I have no interest whatsoever.
It would age like 10 years.
It's too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Too many. You would have to deal with way too many
Did you-
shady people and
Clinton
shady shit.
Clinton looks like he just came out of a mausoleum. He
Right?
looks so old. Bill Clinton, he aged. You know, I mean,
Well, the guy's like 80 now, man. So like,
oh God, who was the other one too? I saw it. George Bush. He looks horrible. Looks like the old man now. He looks like his father. It's horrible how these guys aged. You know, because I mean, it's a lot of stress.
Yep.
You know, who the hell
Yeah.
knows what really goes on? I mean, obviously, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
well, literally, you saw Obama from the beginning of his first term to by the end of it. He went from no gray hair to like
White.
half gray hair.
Yeah, he went poof. I can't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
All right, let's get to Nadine and then wrap this up. Nadine, what is in the next couple years do you want to see happen in your life and career?
I definitely want to continue pursuing acting, and I want to definitely be like in a film as a lead character, and that challenge to see how much potential I could reach being a lead in a movie. That's my dream. Yeah. And then obviously I would love to do a new album, maybe a few by then in a couple years. So continue with music, but I definitely want to be a leading actress just to take on the stress of it and, the challenge, I would love to play also a like you're saying, a classic character as well in something.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, my thing is all my
You
scripts
got to look for it.
there are definitely leads in them, but they are more. Wouldn't you say they're more all ensemble cast?
Nowadays, yeah.
No, I mean my scripts. Don't I write like a bunch of like? There's a lot of characters that are all kind of.
Your script is an ensemble. It's everybody has a role in the script. It's
I
pretty.
mean, there's
pretty cool.
leads in it, but literally,
Yeah.
like the leads have barely any more scenes than anybody else. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
It's all, they all contribute to the characters. It's just it's really good. I mean, I can't.
I
I'm
told myself I would never write that stormtrooper that says "move along." Like you know
Roger,
what I mean?
Roger.
Like every character, no matter how big or small, they all got to have meaning
Mhm.
and have an important, like Monster Cock in Blade and Blood, dude. He's only in one scene, but that guy's gonna steal the show of that one scene, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
awesome.
know what I mean? So, plus he's probably gonna be the most popular collectible action figure, man.
Oh God.
Monster
said, here
Cock.
we go.
Yes, I have a character in Blade and Blood called Monster Cock.
Hasbro's going to make
And
him
his
as
shirt even says that. Like the
MC.
shirt, the wardrobe that he's going to be in is going to say Monster Cock. I'm telling you, that collectible action figure is going to be
No, the Andrew Anderson figure is going to be
the
great.
Crank.
Figure. It'll go
Yeah.
along with the other one. I can, I mean, I'm one of the few guys right now that can actually, out of
Yeah, his character is one of the comedic relief characters in that film.
so, and I could just add on to all the other action figures of me that have been made, and I can literally legally play with myself and not get in trouble.
Dude, one of the main the seven villains, the shark. He's Crank is the shark's main guy, but every time you see the shark, he's messing around with his girl Cyber, and then there's Crank in the shadows playing with himself, like peeking on him. And there's always that argument between the shark and Crank, Shark getting all pissed off of like, Crank, quit, like
Cranking.
watching us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You
So,
guys are
It's an interesting script.
yeah, it's funny.
well, I'd love to read it, definitely.
Oh, you can read it. Oh, you know what? My producer right now doesn't want me handing it out, so
Okay.
I'll not send it to you soon.
Yeah, don't send it to me. I'll
Yeah.
sign a NDA if you want me to.
No, she's tripping on it. She just doesn't want me sending it out to anybody or anything like that. But we'll figure it out. But anyway, hey, you guys, it's amazing. It's been an awesome show. Andrew made a new friend with Nadine.
Definitely.
Yeah, Andrew always does what he says he's going to do. That's why we've been friends for a decade.
Yep.
Because we're
He's
both
good
like
people.
that. We say we're going to do it. We
Some
do it.
things like my Cuba tour. I was supposed to be in Cuba. I was bringing wrestling the first time I was promoting, bringing wrestling to Cuba the first time in 65 years. But the COVID-19 attack caused
Wait, is
everything.
that still happening?
Yeah, well, we're looking for right now, December, January. It depends if the Cuban government and the United States government. We have to work with the State Department to get permits and work visas to get into the country. So it's first time around. The Trump administration put a travel ban on travel, recreational, educational, and commercial travel into Cuba. Then that got settled. I got the tour going back again in April of 2020, April 18th. And then it got held up by the COVID virus. And now Cuba totally shut down the tourism. The United States put travel bans. And so now it's, now nobody, if you look at the list from the United Nations or for the European Union, a lot of European Union nations, we're not on the list of being accessible to get into Europe. Nobody wants us in because the way we handled the virus situation and the way the pandemic is turning up.
Well, a big part of and they, even though they don't talk about it, but it should be the perfect example of why we had so much trouble, is we're the only one out of all those countries that doesn't have universal health care.
No, well, that's part of it, but that's part of it.
No, it's a huge part of it, man. You have like a bunch of people that had symptoms that refuse to go to the doctor because they don't have $100,000 or whatever they.
Yeah, but
you know what
Trump,
I mean?
Trump.
Yeah, I would probably just suffer at home if I was
Yeah.
gonna get it.
Yeah, but Trump waived it that you would not get charged if you went to get tested.
People were still getting charged for. I think I read an article not too long ago where the guy literally got really sick, and with one of those had to go on an incubator, all that stuff, and then he ended up getting
Incubator,
$100,000 bill
You got
in the
put in an
mail.
incubator. You got put in an incubator like egg. You got put in an incubator like egg.
And then he ended up getting like $150,000, $100,000 bill in the mail.
Yeah.
And
You will probably,
Then
but you
that's
have to do a lot of paperwork to like get it, you know. To
I
get
just
rid
think,
of
man, we are like way behind. We need to have universal health care. Everybody should have the right to health. It should not be
That's
a.
true.
You know
I
what I
agree.
just watched yesterday, and I was getting. Oh my God! I don't cry in life, but put me in the right movie, man, and tears will be streaming down my face. And I was watching John Q with Denzel Washington. I don't even know if you remember that film.
Not really.
2002, where he has an HMO. His son needs a new heart, and his HMO won't cover it.
I don't
So
remember.
the hospital is said, just get ready to watch your kid die. And then he ends up taking over the emergency room and the hostage of the doctors and all that stuff, trying to force them to give his son a heart.
Well, look, I cried at King Kong when I was a kid when he fell off the Empire State Building.
It was just a very powerful movie, and it was literally and they've already independent group studied the Medicare for all plan, and they looked at it economically and said the government would actually save a shit ton of money having Medicare for all than what we currently do, because of all the grants and stuff we give to hospitals to help poor people and all that other crap.
Now they're worried.
It would save the government money.
Worried about Social Security and Medicare disappearing right now. You know,
and that's ridiculous because Social Security, they pay for that.
I know.
And do you know how much Social Security is the largest debt holder of the U.S. debt, and that's why they want to get rid of it. They owe almost like $6.5 trillion to Social Security.
That's insane.
And that's why they want to get rid of it, so that they can just wipe that $6.5 trillion debt.
That's crazy.
Right.
Phone is gonna die.
All right, but we're getting off the tangent. You know me; I'll get passionate about anything, man.
falling down a rabbit hole.
Any conversation, I'll jump on it.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's beautiful having both of you. For those of you watching at home, sorry on our tangent, you can blame me. It's my fault. Beautiful musician and artist, Nadine, and then Andrew is amazing spirit, East Coast wrestling legend, actor, all those things. If you want to help either one of them out, feel free to send a message. We have Mark. Next episode, we're going to have Mark in a summer yellow dress with his lightsaber shattered.
What's up?
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing for all you LGBT community out there. Mark's going to.
I am unavailable.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's been an amazing night, amazing conversations, amazing spirits, and both of these guys are going to do amazing, beautiful things in their wondrous existence. So keep an eye out and support them in all that they do. You have Lola. Say bye, Lola. Then you have Mark Potter, my co-host, which I couldn't do the show without. And then, of course, my name's JD Glasscock. You've been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers, talking to dreamers. As always, keep dreaming. Love ya. Blessings. See ya. I'm out.
Have a good night.
Good night.